now. Hello there, welcome to your Tuesday One show live on BBC One and iPlayer with Gabby Logan.
And Lauren Laverne. Lots coming up tonight, some brilliant telly to get your teeth into. And a word of warning about devices that contain rechargeable batteries, like your phone, that you might have replaced over the Christmas period. So watch tonight's film before you chuck the old gadgets in the bin. More on that coming up in a moment.
Absolutely. And after the massive success of Harlan Coben's Fool Me Once, the stars of his next adaptation, Missing You, are here. Richard Armitage and Rosalind Eleazar will be filling us in on all the twists and turns in this latest tale of intrigue and betrayal.
And after reaching the semi-finals on Strictly Come Dancing, the hard man of reality TV, Pete Wicks, shows us his softer side in his new documentary, which sees him rescue and rehome vulnerable dogs.
Love that. It's adorable. Also tonight, are you proud of your accent? You're a woman of many accents.
I am,
Gabby.
although I've lost my original accent, which makes it sound like I'm not proud of it, but I am. You're right.
It's
You're right.
still inside you. Well, Jeff Brazier, a proud Essex lad, finds out how people feel about accents like his and how they're perceived by others.
And as always, we want to hear from you. We launched our WhatsApp number last night and it proved very popular, so thank you for all your messages so far. We have loved reading them. You can message us via WhatsApp on 0330 123 1700 or scan the QR code on your screen.
Or you can email us or contact us on the socials in all the usual ways.
But we start tonight with that warning. Here are some of the headlines you might have seen over the Christmas period about the risks when disposing of certain electronic devices. Lindsay
Russell has been looking at a new way to avoid the devastating effects of this very useful but potentially dangerous technology.
The speed at which fire can take hold and destroy is terrifying. But the damage here was caused by a small object many of us use every day, a lithium-ion battery. These types of fires are relatively rare, but lithium-ion batteries are especially sensitive, and if damaged, they can short-circuit, or if exposed to high temperatures, pressure can build up. Mobile phones, vapes and electric vehicles like e-bikes all use these batteries. And if they aren't disposed of properly, they can explode and cause a fire. The main cause of many of these fires are cheap and poorly made batteries and chargers for items such as e-bikes and mobile phones. But it's not just in our homes that there's a risk. These batteries can be dangerous for the people working in places like recycling centres, where many batteries end up after being put in with general waste. It's something that Portsmouth Waste Centre Director Luke Haskell knows only too well after a serious fire here earlier this year.
Fire spread very quickly and ultimately caused a lot of devastation.
So how do you think it was caused then?
So we suspect the cause was a discarded lithium-ion battery, and we don't want it to happen again, and that's why we want to try and raise awareness around the correct disposal of lithium-ion batteries.
It's believed that lithium-ion batteries cause nearly half of all waste fires in the UK. Luke says this is because many people are throwing their old electrical products away instead of disposing of them correctly.
We've got some items that shouldn't be here. Unfortunately, we've got household goods like an iPad, which contains a lithium-ion battery within it, and vapes here, which kind of indicates it's not a new problem, but it's a problem that's getting worse and worse with disposable vapes being discarded incorrectly. There are dedicated disposal points to dispose of lithium-ion batteries and items containing them, and people need to just be aware of where those are local to them.
Local council websites will have advice on how to dispose of batteries safely at collection sites, such as supermarkets, libraries and garden centres, that often have containers to drop them in before they're picked up for recycling. However, until they are recycled, they remain sensitive to heat and damage, so they need to be stored carefully. But there could be a solution thanks to some groundbreaking technology in the form of this nifty little bag. To find out how the bag works, I've come to meet Andrew Barnett, whose company designed it. Initially used on airplanes to contain fires, this product is now being developed for use in supermarkets and recycling centres. Andrew, talk to me about the bag. How does this actually work?
The technology is designed to activate when something gets hot inside it, and it turns from this material into a powder and smothers what's inside it.
Luke is keen to see if this could help his business avoid another serious fire. But first, Andrew wants to show me what can happen when a lithium battery ignites.
That was huge. That was like a mini explosion as well with it. And it happened so quick as well. It went from smoking to on fire.
Absolutely.
Fast.
Fast.
So what happens when the battery is put in Andrew's bag?
So that's on fire in the bag
That's
right now?
on fire in the bag.
And apart from a bit of smoke, we're totally protected from it.
Andrew's firm is currently designing a much bigger version of the bag, so recycling centres like Luke's can safely store thousands of batteries.
How did it feel watching that, Luke?
It's great technology. It's brilliant to see that there's something that can help manage the risk of lithium-ion batteries causing fires.
This bag of tricks could be an absolute game changer, but what today has really highlighted is just how important it is for all of us to dispose of these batteries properly, and then that risk of devastating fires could be extinguished.
Oh, some really good advice there. Thank you very much, Lindsay. I'm definitely going to be on the council website, and also those recycling bins that you see at the supermarket.
Yeah, use those. Time now, though, to welcome some very special guests. One of them starred in Netflix's most watched show of last year, the thriller Fool Me Once. And tonight, Richard Armitage joins us with his new co-star, Rosalind Elazar, to talk about the latest Harlan Coben adaptation, Missing You.
And joining them is Strictly Come Dancing semi-finalist Pete Wicks. Now, shortly, he's going to be telling us about his new series on rescue dogs. But first, here he is, unleashing his own wild side as George of the Jungle.
George of the Jungle, strong as he can be. Watch out for that tree. George of the Jungle lives a life that's free. Watch out for that tree.
It's unadulterated joy. Please welcome Pete Wicks, Richard Armitage and Rosalind Elazar. Welcome, all of you. Pete, congratulations on becoming a Strictly semi-finalist. Your reaction when that clip was being played there tells me that this next question might be redundant. Have you managed to come out of the Strictly bubble yet?
I spent Christmas and New Year's kind of locked away and off radar, and that has just taken me right back to that. And I'm
We've
really
done all
pleased,
the work.
Yeah, I'm really pleased that's going to live on the internet forever as well. Yeah, me barefoot in a loincloth swinging from a table.
But to be fair, Pete, you were in character. I mean, what did it feel like when they told you were going to be George? How did they break something like that to you? Did they just get the loincloth out, or what?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I said from the start of it that I was in for a penny, in for a pound, but I regretted that immediately. I mean, the first week I came down from the ceiling in a chain into like a ball of fire dressed in leather, so from that moment I knew it was going to be downhill. But I'd never seen George of the Jungle.
Oh, well, I mean, you carried it off beautifully.
Well, I carried something off. I don't know if it was that.
But you played other characters too. I mean, it seemed like you really thrived then, because you did George, you did Freddie Mercury, you played the Joker, and that I felt like you really came into your own when you could do that. And kind of...
Yeah, the Joker I loved, and Freddie Mercury is such an icon. I even shaved in the moustache. That was a bad move as well. But yeah, it was a lot easier to dance behind a mask than it was to dance as me.
Rosalind, we hear you're a massive Strictly fan. Did you buy into all of Pete's dances? Were you there with him?
I mean, I loved you, and I loved Strictly, and I loved your pink trousers.
No.
But no, they were so
Yes.
epic. It was so epic. But I mean, I have to say, when I watch Strictly, I get such a surge of energy that I have to pause it and then get up and do the dances myself.
Oh, really?
But performing to my partner, and he's just like, can we just get back to watching Strictly? It's not really about you.
Oh, you're the...
Yeah,
you're
I
the...
You
loved
know
it.
you're going to be on it now, don't you?
I love it,
please.
especially when it's like the Argentine tango. And you're like,
That was the last dance I did. It was my favourite. Loved
was
the
so
Argentine
good.
tango, yeah.
Oh, well, it's good to hear how people watch Strictly the same way I do, isn't
mean,
it?
yeah, I love that
Pete,
next
we're going to
gen.
be hearing all about your new series very shortly. We're going to see a softer side of you there, aren't we? But things are going to get a little bit more tense now as we talk to Rosalind and Richard about Richard's new thriller. You're no stranger, Richard, to Harlan Coben adaptation. This is your fourth. So what is it like being part of the whole Coben universe?
I mean, I just feel very privileged to be constantly invited back to play new characters. But Harlan is kind of the king of the up-all-night bingeable thriller. His books are compelling and they translate brilliantly to screen. So when I read Missing You, it was a no-brainer. I had to do it.
So, Rosalind, this series is very much about your character. I mean, it starts with a bang. So you're on a date with Matt Willis from Busted, 1 minute. The next minute, you're dripping wet, disarming a murderous chef. I mean, you are straight out of the traps. Tell me more about Kat.
I mean, she's a detective and she's the head of the missing persons unit, and she's followed in her father's footsteps, and her father had a really close bond, and she really idolised him. And he was brutally murdered 11 years prior to the story starting. And the circumstances surrounding his murder have never really sat that well with her. But if that wasn't enough for poor Kat, her fiancé disappeared as well. Josh, played by Ashley Walters, the brilliant Ashley Walters. And so when she basically sets out to discover what happened to him, and her whole world is turned upside down. So, yeah, it's pretty intense and dramatic.
Well, let's get a little taste of it now. This is Missing You.
I'm Detective Inspector Kat Donovan.
My mum's missing.
She said she was going on a trip with her boyfriend.
This is the guy she went away with.
I always thought he left because of my dad's murder.
He's wiped from all online existence.
If you carry on like this, you're going to ruin your whole career. I'm not asking you, I am telling you, you're out.
And now, Rosalind, this might all never have come to be for you because for very special reasons, you told your agent not to call you. You were off-grid.
Yes.
And
yeah.
your agent was, luckily for all of us, very persistent.
Yes. I got married last year and I said, can I have some space surrounding my wedding, as you do. And so the day after my wedding, when I was about to go on my honeymoon, I got an email and they said, I'm really sorry, Ros, you're gonna have to take a look at this. And so I spent the honeymoon reading his book, Harlan's book.
Wow.
So my husband was really happy about it.
Yeah.
He had a great time. But I'm so happy I did. The book is so good. And I read it in one sitting, and the final chapter of that book, for people that haven't seen it, it will blow your mind. You really don't think that the story is going there.
Oh, so exciting. Now, Richard, we've had lots of people getting in touch with questions, and there's one now. So you played an MI5 agent in Spooks, but Leah has been on and wants to know, how did it feel to finally play a cop this time?
It was nice. It was nice to be kind of top of the heap, because normally I'm playing a character that things are happening to him and he's chasing the story. So it was nice to play Kat's boss. I mean, he's kind of keeper of the secrets. He knows a lot and he's keeping his cards quite close to his chest.
He's an authority figure.
Yeah, and that uniform is it's great.
And you also you also have played MI5 agent in Slow Horses. We're huge fans, and anybody who's watched Slow Horses knows there will definitely be a season 5 because you kind of throw forwards to that. What can you tell us?
Yeah, what can I tell you?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing. I'm in it. I think it diverges from the book a little bit, and all I can say is that Louisa takes a surprise turn.
But this is the thing, that it's full of surprises. And I mean, Spooks as well, Richard, that was another show where, like Slow Horses, you never know who's next for the chop, you know, even if you are reading the books. And what's it like being part of a company where actors don't know who's coming back next season, who's going to be around?
I think it's quite exciting, especially when you're in that mix. I mean, Lisa Faulkner is a perfect example of that. Who is in our show. She famously kind of kicked off Spooks and had her head put into a chip fryer, and it sort of it shakes up the audience. They kind of don't know what to expect, but you tend to watch your back as an actor because you might be next.
Well, thank you both very much. And you can watch Rosalind and Richard in Missing You on Netflix now.
In a few moments, we're going to be talking to Pete about his time at a rescue dog shelter.
But first, we got to know Pete on Towie, which followed the lives of some of the biggest characters in Essex. And that famous accent has been the subject of some interesting new research.
Indeed, and fellow Essex man Jeff Brazier has been to find out more.
Accents give a sense of identity, but the way we speak can also mean others judge us.
I grew up in Romford in Essex, and I definitely played on the cheeky Essex chappie.
Now, I didn't see my accent as a negative, but I think others could have a different point of view.
There's a wide connotation that the Birmingham accent relates to being uneducated.
I don't feel like I need to hide my accent because I don't really mind about people's opinions.
I have been judged because of my accent, because people say I don't pronounce things properly. I think sometimes people act like I sound a bit thick.
Definitely been judged for my accent, actually. Probably negatively. So I've been told that I have a posh accent, and then people assume that I am unapproachable, or they've told me that I am snooty.
According to a University of Essex study, teenage girls from Essex in particular feel pressure to change the way they talk. I'm meeting up with a group of girls from this Southend High School who took part in the research.
How do you feel about your accent?
I used to be quite ashamed of it. People would say, oh, you're very loud, you're really Essex.
When I was younger, I never really saw it as a negative. Do you think there's a difference for women than there is for men?
I feel like if you're a girl from Essex, if you like wearing dresses or like clothes or shopping, like a lot of girls from Essex do, it's almost like, oh, you're dumb, that your opinion matters less.
The girls turn their thoughts and feelings about the Essex girl stereotype into an audio installation of their own poetry, which was housed at the local Clifftown Theatre and is now in school for their fellow pupils to enjoy.
The process of writing your thoughts and feelings, how was that for you?
I think the whole experience was brilliant. We talked about things that would have never even occurred to me that were affecting me.
I think it was something that actually was a lot more helpful to me than I expected. With poetry, our voice is our strength. It's not something to be ashamed of.
Dr. Tara McAllister-Vale is Head of Voice and Speech at the University of Essex and headed up the study.
Essex has always had certain stereotypes around it, but it can't just be Essex, right? There are so many other counties.
We all have an accent, and in my experience, we all have stereotypes that are linked to accents. So no, it's not just Essex.
Why do you think this project is important?
When we start these conversations early, we can provide students with strategies to talk back to stereotype. It may not just be stereotype about your accent, it could be sexism, racism, classism, ableism. There are a lot of ways that students need to be armed with strategies moving forward in order to understand themselves better and their place in the world.
Today, the girls are going to be performing their poems here in school at their assembly.
How do you feel about speaking in front of so many people?
It's a bit scary, it's a bit nervous, but I know it's for every Essex girl.
We should all be proud of ourselves for coming up here and doing this.
With the hall filling up, it's time to take my seat.
For the girls who carried the fire of Basildon and the hopes of Brentwood and the dreams of Dagenham. For the ones who carry the weight of their hometown like designer handbags that don't match their outfits. Who wear ambition like lashes thick enough to hold the rain. Who dance in heels that sky their feet but refuse to limp.
Now to see what the audience made of the girls' poetry.
I found it really inspiring because I feel like my voice was the one speaking up there.
How much credit do they deserve there?
Loads of credit, so not just in them being able to articulate it, but them seeing already that people may judge them for their accent, but they're not going to let that stop them or get in their way at all.
Big congratulations for that. That was absolutely incredible. Is everyone happy?
I feel like this helped me grow a bit, and I don't really care about what people think of me or the judgments they might have.
I was really nervous, but being up there and seeing everyone being so supportive in the audience was really just great.
Well, that was an incredibly inspiring performance, and for them to speak in front of a room full of their fellow students was a really powerful moment. What it's taught me is we should be really proud of our voices, because at the end of the day, they're the only ones that we've got.
Well said, Jeff, and thank you very much for that. And it's great to see all those young women there really owning their identity. And what brilliant poems as well. Pete, would you say your accent is integral to your success on TOWIE, and it's kind of what launched you into this public life you have?
Yeah, probably. I mean, TOWIE's obviously Essex-based, and the accent that comes with TOWIE and everything that's about. But I do think that the Essex accent gets a bit of a bad rap, because I think as soon as you kind of open your mouth with an Essex accent, everyone thinks you're a bit of a donut. But I do think that accents, it's more about what you say, not how you say it.
That's right.
Well
But it's a strength that we've got, you know, this diversity of accents all around the country, so many. Have you been watching The Traitors? Because one of the contestants this year has made quite a punchy choice.
Audacious.
To put on a Welsh accent because she thinks it sounds more trustworthy. Have a look at this.
I've been putting on a Welsh accent because my mum's from Wales. It's one of the most trustworthy accents, so in a game where we need people to trust each other, I need an accent that people can trust. I've lived in London since post-uni, so all my Welsh friends from school are like, oh, you've lost your accent, like... I can hear it a little bit, you know. Yeah, I am now terrified that she will work this out.
Well, the big news is that Alex Jones is actually from Bradford. We talked about being half Welsh and having half my family live in Wales still, I watched that and was kind of aghast, thinking, oh my gosh, how are you going to keep this up? Because it's quite a bold choice, isn't it? I can understand the idea, though, that it is friendly and it's warm. Do you think, Richard, that there are accents that are more trustworthy than others?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that Charlotte's accent was bad so that she couldn't actually do a very good Welsh accent. But yeah, I remember doing voiceovers early on in my career, and I did 2 bank commercials for high street banks, and they kept asking me to go more northern because apparently if you sound like you're from Yorkshire, you're more likely to open a bank account with me. Apparently.
It's why we've got all the call centres in the northeast, isn't it?
Exactly.
You're welcome.
It's true.
Rosalind, you would have done quite a lot of accent work at drama school. I mean, which were the most useful, which were useless?
I mean, I think that they're all useful. What's quite interesting at drama school is that we all have to learn something that's called RP.
Received pronunciation.
Which is sort of a made-up accent, and it's basically a...
Like cut-glass English.
Yeah, and I think that's probably harks back to when people went straight into the RSC and had to do Shakespeare. But I just always thought it was so weird that we all had to learn that accent, but we didn't have to learn a Mancunian accent. We didn't have to do anything else. We could choose what other accents we wanted to learn. But yeah, I think accents are really, really useful.
Yeah. I always thought RP was for old school radio technology, so it could be heard through those old fuzzy radios,
so it's very clear.
full of white noise. Well, listen, there's plenty of Essex to enjoy in Pete's new series because he's been spending time working at a rescue dog shelter near Basildon.
Before he tells us all about the ups and downs, here he is with some furry friends.
I'm Pete Wicks, and I'm going on a journey with some gorgeous dogs.
Oh, yes, you are.
From rescue to rehoming.
Every day is kind of life and death for these puppies, isn't it? How could anyone just dump you?
So it's upset me quite a bit, that one, if I'm honest with you.
Wow, look at you all.
It's almost like he knows that there's a future, and that makes me happy.
Oh, you're kind of glassy-eyed watching that. You can see this is a real passion project for you. Where did it all start, the love of dogs?
I mean, dogs have always been a massive part of my life, and it's probably... I prefer dogs to people, present company accepted, obviously. But just because they make me feel safe, they make me feel happy. Dogs don't really want anything from you other than love, trust, and what they give back is tenfold. And I just think that's a really, really beautiful thing. They live for the moment, and that's something that I've always just loved being around. So I have been trying to get this show off the ground for 6 years now. So for it to finally happen and for me to finally be able to do that, yeah, it was just incredible.
It is. You just light up when those dogs come into the room with you and you follow them on their whole journey. How challenging is it to rehome a dog?
Rehoming dogs, I think a lot of people, when they think of shelters and rescue centres, there's still a bit of a stigma attached to the fact that you think it's just going to be kind of the dogs no one wants, the dogs that have got loads of problems, and actually that's not always the case. There's so many different reasons why dogs end up in shelters, but the most important part of rehoming a dog is it's like matchmaking. It's ensuring they go to the right places to make sure that they get a forever home. So there's a lot that goes behind it, the medical side of stuff, you know, some of the dogs come in badly neglected and quite vulnerable. The behavioural side of stuff as well, you know, they've got learned behaviours, you know, if they've been on the streets that aren't acceptable in a home. So there's an awful lot of work that goes into it, and the people that work at Dogs Trust and a lot of the rehoming centres it's cliche, but not all heroes wear capes. Like, they are incredible. The passion they have for the dogs and the animals there is amazing, but there is an awful lot that goes behind it.
I think one of the highlights for you was working with some puppies. You had quite a big responsibility with them.
Yeah, I got to name a litter of puppies, 10 puppies, Yeah, so they had come in, their mum had come from a puppy farm. She was overly bred and she gave birth at the centre. So this was just a couple of days old and I got to name them all. But it was summer, so I wouldn't done a kind of a summer theme.
Nice.
So there was some suspect names in there.
The worst being?
There was Barbie, which people assumed was because the film was out, but actually it was short for barbecue. But no, it was amazing. I'd never held puppies that young, and you know, but some of them needed hand rearing, and there's all sorts of different bits and bobs you learn. But yeah, they were just so cute.
And it's emotional, this show. I mean, how did you cope with that? Because there are lots of highs and lows.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously have to see a lot of neglect cases and a lot of dogs that have been abused. And for years, I mean, I've been to Korea and shut down dog meat farms and done all sorts of stuff. And it's part and parcel of kind of that rescue world, is that you are given a second chance to animals who haven't had the best start in life. And that is tough. But the important thing for me with doing the show is highlighting the journeys that the dogs can go on, and really all they need is a little bit of love, and suddenly you get a brand new dog who gets to be a dog and actually enjoy the rest of their lives. And yeah, that's just a really amazing thing to be a part of.
Well, we've had a question in from Claire who says, and I'm sure a lot of people are thinking this, how difficult is it to not want to take all the dogs home with you?
Oh, I mean, if I could, I would go completely off-grid, live in the middle of nowhere and just be surrounded by dogs.
Full wolf pack.
Full wolf pack, yeah. But I've got two rescues myself. I've got Eric and Peggy, and Eric's great because he's just like a loaf of bread with legs. He just sits around. But Peggy is, she's a savage. So she only likes Eric and people. She's not keen on other dogs. Otherwise, I would have taken them all home.
And what message would you like the viewers to take home from this? Because I think I discovered a lot that I didn't know watching it.
I think for me it's an educational show as well, especially for kids, because a lot of the time and a lot of the dogs that come in, they aren't all abuse or neglect cases. It's about people who want a dog and love the idea of having a dog but actually can't care for a dog properly, and sometimes people don't kind of think that through. But for kids as well, you know, approaching dogs and being around dogs, you know, there's a lot of situations we can avoid by people just understanding dogs a little bit better. And more than anything, I think for me is what the rehoming centres and kind of the rescue centres do. They don't get the credit they deserve, and dogs are amazing, but it's the people that facilitate that are also amazing. So yeah, it was wonderful to be a part of.
Well, Gemma has messaged in and says Teasel, the miniature wire-haired dachshund, is really looking forward to watching Pete on For Dog's Sake tonight. So there you go. There's Teasel, ready to watch.
Teasel's locked in, tuned in.
Wicks, For
Series
Dog's
linked.
Sake. This is for Teasel. Teasel, it starts 8 o'clock tonight on the U&W channel, or you can stream all episodes on You right now.
Absolutely. Just time to read this WhatsApp message from Coram and Christine about the cold weather. They say, please come up to Bradford this week. It's nice to have you back. Nighttime temperatures here are expected to be -10. Well, listen, don't worry, Coram, Christine, we're coming to Bradford this Thursday. Matt Allwright's going to be there, seeing how preparations are going for the launch of Bradford's Year, a City of Culture.
With his thermal underwear. Thank you to all our guests tonight. Alex and Clara are going to be here tomorrow, joined by Monty Don.
Plus, Nick Frost and Aisling B will be talking about their new comedy horror film, and Nikki will be here for Watchdog. You have a lovely evening. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye-bye.